All right, let's get straight to it. Welcome to your mission briefing. Today's target? We're securing the diagnostic matrix for diabetes. And look, this isn't about just rote memorizing numbers. It's about understanding the core system failure, a total breakdown in what we call the insulin currency. So let's decrypt the signals.
So what's really going on here? You gotta understand the two main ways the system fails. In type 1, think of it like this. The insulin factory itself just shuts down. It's an autoimmune hit job, a total supply problem. But with type 2, the factory is chugging along. Sometimes it's even working overtime. The problem is the cell's receptionists are basically on strike. The receptors are just deaf to insulin's call. It's a reception problem. Two totally different failures.
Now, to confirm a system breach, you need hard data. You need the numbers. Your first flag is a fasting plasma glucose of 126 milligrams per deciliter or higher. Lock that number in.
Your second critical piece of intel is the HbA1c. You know, that long-term look at glucose control. The line in the sand here, the number you're looking for, is 6.5% or higher.
And your third gateway, a random glucose over 200. But, and you have to remember this part, this one only counts if it comes with the classic symptoms. We're talking about things like polyuria and polydipsia, peeing all the time and being incredibly thirsty. But here's the kicker. One of these data points, that A1C, it can be a double agent. It can straight up lie to you. But before we dig into that metabolic trap, protocol requires we engage the safety interlocks. So let's slow it down for a second.
Listen up, this is important. This content is for educational purposes for international medical exams only. This is not medical advice. For actual clinical decisions, you must always consult official guidelines.
Okay, safety protocols engaged. Now let's diffuse one of the most common traps you're gonna see. I'm talking about a classic board exam scenario, the kind that's designed to test your real logic, not just what you've memorized. So here's the puzzle. You've got a patient. Their fasting glucose is 140, which, is clearly in the diabetic range. But their HbA1c is 5.8%, which is not. And there's a key piece of intel. They have hereditary spherocytosis. Now, the new intern looks at the A1c and says, nope, no diabetes. What do? Do you agree?
No way! That intern just walked right into the cell turnover trap. Here's why that A1C is lying. See, HbA1c measures how much glucose is stuck to hemoglobin over the life of a red blood cell, which is normally about 120 days. But in some conditions, those red blood cells are dying off way faster. So the glucose just doesn't have enough time on the clock to build up and stick. The reading ends up being falsely and honestly dangerously low.
And this isn't some rare one-off thing. You see this in major conditions like sickle cell disease, hereditary spherocytosis, just like in our patient, and even during pregnancy. So what's the bottom line? In these cases, you basically have to throw the A1C out. It's useless. Your mission-critical move is to fall back on the fasting plasma glucose or an oral glucose tolerance test. Don't let a normal A1C fool you.
Okay, let's hack into another high-yield trap. This one is all about a very specific patient profile, the young, thin adult. You see a 30-year-old who's not obese, but they have high blood sugar. The automatic reflex for a lot of people is to just label it type 2 diabetes because of their age, and that can be a massive error.
So here's the prime directive, okay? You have to burn this into your brain. Don't be ageist with your diagnosis. The real intel you need isn't going to come from their date of birth. It's going to come from two other places, the antibodies and the pedigree. So let's break this down. It's simple, really. If that patient has a super strong family history, I'm talking diabetes in every single generation, you have to be thinking MODY, or maturity onset diabetes of the young. The pedigree chart is your smoking gun. But if the family history is kind of meh, but they test positive for GAD antibodies, well, that's LADA, latent autoimmune diabetes in adults. Just think of it as type 1 diabetes playing the long game. The antibody test is the key that unlocks that diagnosis.
Okay, it's time to lock in this diagnostic logic. We're going to run a quick drill to make sure these numbers are hardwired into your brain. You ready? Let's go.
First up, what's the HbA1c threshold?
That's right, 6.5% or higher. Locked.
Next, fasting glucose threshold.
You got it. 126 or higher. Confirmed.
Final threshold, random glucose with symptoms?
Over 200. Signal confirmed. Okay, scenario time. Your patient has sickle cell. What do? That's the one. HbA1c is invalid. You go with the fasting plasma glucose.
Last one, A thin adult? Positive antibodies? What's the diagnosis?
LADA. Diagnosis confirmed. The logic matrix is now sealed.
Excellent. The metabolic thresholds are now secured. But making the diagnosis? That's just the start. Now the real fight begins.
Mission E4.1 is complete. Diagnostic logic is secured. But listen, if you can't navigate the complex world of metformin, SGLT2 inhibitors, and the GLP-1 revolution, you are not ready for the boards. Your next target is to engage Series E4.2, the oral anti-diabetic logic module. Mission continues.